If you missed numbers 9 or 10, you should write down, pause it and write down everything that's on this page, number 9. If you miss number 10, you can fast forward till you see a 10 up here in the corner. All right, so hopefully you have this written down. What you need to know, A, the bigger A is, the skinnier the graph will be. The smaller A is, the wider it will be. So, some examples that I would write down. 3x is going to be skinnier than 2x. And negatives do not matter. So if I give you negative 5x, that is going to be skinnier than 3x. It doesn't matter that the 5 is a negative. 5 is bigger than 3, so 5 is going to be skinnier. And then C is going to shift the graph up or down. And making a negative reflects it across the x-axis. So, let's do some examples. Example 1, how do these graphs differ? Well, this one, the slope is, or your A is 1/2, and this one has a 1 here. Oh, this is a 1. Well, 1/2 is smaller than 1, so this one's going to be wider, and this one's going to be skinnier, because 1 is bigger than 1/2. Okay, how do these graphs compare? Well, they're both x squareds. This one is going to be shifted down, because it's a minus. If it was a plus, it would be up, down 3. Again, you should be writing all this down. I don't think I said that. So if you need to pause it and catch up, pause it and catch up. But you need to be writing this down. Okay, how do these graphs differ? Well, this is a 1 and this is a 2, which means this one's going to be skinnier because 2 is bigger than 1. This one's also going to be shifted up because it's a plus 4. So if you missed number 9, I want you to answer the following 8 problems. I want you to write down the question. I want you to write down what the answer is. So for number 1, you should have written, how do the graphs of 2x squared and negative 2x squared differ? And then you should put, if you think the answer is A, you need to put the graph of negative 2x squared is the graph of blah, blah, blah. I want it all written out, okay? So pause it, do 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's 5, 6, 7, and 8. Pause it. Same thing, write down the question and the answer. And if you missed number 9, write down what you think the correct answer should have been and why you missed it. Number 10. If you missed number 10, I want you to pause it and write everything down that's on here. Here are your rules. If they're multiplying, you add the exponents. If they're dividing, you subtract them. And if there's 2 exponents, we're going to multiply them. To fix a negative exponent, we move it, and anything to the 0 power is 1. So here's example 1. You should have this written down. So on the outside, we're going to multiply, multiply, multiply. So I would get a to the 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. I would get b to the 6, because 2 times 3 is 6. And I get c to the 0, because 0 times 3 is 0. Now, anything to the 0 power is 1. So this c to the 0 is just 1. We don't care about it. So your answer is a to the 9th and b to the 6th. You should have that written down. All right, example 2. This x gets a 1. And again, we multiply to everything. So this is going to be x to the 8, because 4 times 2 is 8. Y to the 10, because 5 times 2 is 10. On bottom, 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. Now these are dividing. The rule is if they're dividing, you subtract. So 8 minus 2 is 6. And 10 minus 4 is also 6. Here, everything that doesn't have an exponent gets a 1. This 2 is going to multiply to everything inside there. So I'm going to get 2 to the 2nd. I'm going to get c to the 2nd. I'm going to get d to the 8. I did 2 times 1 to get 2. 2 times 1 to get 2. 2 times 4 to get 8. Same thing here. I'm going to get c to the 5th, because 1 times 5 is 5. And d to the 5th. In your calculator, 2 to the 2nd is 4. Now, your c's are multiplying, which means we add them. So when I add up the c's, 2 plus 5 is 7. When I add up my d's, 8 plus 5 is 13. So that's my answer. So, If you missed number 10, I want you to write down these 5 problems and tell me what the answers are to them. So pause it and do these 5. Also, if you missed number 10, I want you to write down what you think the correct answer should have been and why you think you missed it. I don't know why it's not there, but yes, number 10, I want you to write down what the correct answer should have been and why you think you missed it.